Yo, it's Monday. What's going on? I got two of the best cats in the game. I got super producer Prophet P over there with the headphones on, and I got the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only talent. It's Monday, guys. Y'all know what time, y'all know what that means. It means we're back again with another installment of Motivational Monday. We do this each and every Monday, 6 p.m. We don't say tell a friend to tell a friend because we hope and we know that y'all are telling friends anyway. And for those who don't come in and check us out, you can catch the rebroadcast on WMS Radio here on Facebook. So you can always catch the show later if you don't have time to catch it on Monday when we actually do it. But we just want to come on quickly and say to everybody, I hope everybody had an amazing weekend. I hope everybody is getting prepared for that transition from summer. So I don't know what we're getting ready to go into because it might be fall, could be winter. I don't know. But whatever we're going to transition into, I hope everybody is doing what they can to get into that space. I'm going to start things off and talk about my weekend. I had an absolutely phenomenal weekend. I was on the left coast. For those of y'all who might have been following me and seeing me pop up here and there, I was on the west coast for a little bit, just taking care of some things and just getting some R&R. And had an absolutely phenomenal weekend. Had the opportunity. You're in Vegas. Two things you want to check out. There's a place called The Lock, which is a speakeasy in Bally's downstairs. Beautiful space. It's dope. They got a bartender. His name is Rick, Asian dude. When I tell you this dude be crafting some incredible drinks, So make sure you go if you have the opportunity next time you're in Vegas. And then secondly, I went to this spot called La Neta, which is in downtown Summerlin. And it's an all tequila bar. Man, listen, I had an absolute blast in it. I had this drink called the El Diablo. And I just want to tell y'all, for the first time in a very long time, I was just happy to see a drink on the menu that a guy could pronounce and or say without feeling some kind of way. That's all I'm going to say about that. But bigger and better than that, I touched ground. I touched back here in NYC yesterday afternoon. So I'm back on the coast. I'm back to, do what we do. Let's get into some things, make some people happy, put some smiles on some faces, but more importantly, be here with you guys and enjoy this wonderful moment in time that I always get to have with y'all. How was your weekend, gentlemen? Prophet P, we're going to start with you. How was yours, sir?
It was interesting. I realized that people don't value your time as much as you value yours.
Hello.
So because they don't understand what you're doing and they really don't care too much of what you're doing, they figure they could dictate your time. And I had to really, it took a lot for me to do it, but I had to really say, yo, you know what? My time is very much appreciated on this end. Because I know what I do and I know what I put in. So this is what I'm not doing any further.
Nice.
Thank you for that, brother.
That's why the runaway thing. I was like, run away.
Yeah, bro. Yo, let me tell you something. You hit that nail on the head, brother. Like, I tap myself in the head like this all the time. Like, I don't understand that part, man. That part, but it's true as a motherfucker. You done hit that nail directly on the head with a goddamn center block. Amir had I think Amir probably had the top weekend because anytime motherfucker come back and shout out the bartender name, like this, how you know you had a good time when you go, yo, I had a phenomenal weekend. Yo, shout out to Craig. He's the top bartender downstairs. Like, ask for Craig. Like, you got fucked up. You felt real nice when you left to make it a point to remember that motherfucking name. Give him a shout out. Hey, if you find yourself in Vegas, go downstairs in Valley. Craig down that motherfucker, boy. I'm telling you. I heard somebody say a phenomenal drink.
Yeah, you know what? Here's why I'm gonna tell you it was phenomenal. Because first of all, like I said, it's a speakeasy, so you don't even recognize that it's in the space because there's a bar already. But there's a door with a key over it, and you kind of look and you're like, "What the heck is this?" or whatever. You pick up the phone, somebody comes on the phone, they ask you a question, and they give you a password, and you gotta. Two ways to get into the space. One is you can go in walking through the door, but then you got to find the code by looking at these other things. And then the other way, you can crawl in through this other portal that allows you to get into the space. But what made it so dope is they have the coasters with the drink menu, like you scan it with your phone, and they have the regular drink, menu. Because like I said, it's a speakeasy, so they got the box car and stuff from back then. But then on the flip side, they have a thing that you can fill out, and they ask you to things that you like, savory, sweet, blah 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 blah. And you fill it out, and then the bartender crafts drinks to whatever it is you put on that card. But when I tell you those drinks were right as rain, I was like this, sir. Super salute to you. I didn't have not one bad drink, and he made 3 different drinks. None of them was the same, but all of them was dope. I was like, sir, you
had a good weekend, man. Listen, let me tell you something. My weekend was salvaged, I'll say. I unfortunately, one of my buddies, and we'll talk about this when we get into it, did the cardinal no in the entertainment business. That was supposed to be Saturday, but Friday was dope. Friday was the after work Friday thing we do with White Plains. So that night was dope. I had the Untouchable Band. Let me shout out the Untouchable Bands with Kevin, all my people's in his band. The Untouchables, I'm not even gonna front. I like them in general, and I've been working with them for years, so that's why I continue to use them. They just been good to me and good to them. But they shocked me this night. The set they did Friday night, I couldn't have seen coming. And I told them at the end, bro, that set was great. Normally they got a certain flow, and this set they did, bro, they had a little reggae in there, a little house club music. You would have loved that, Amir. A little R&B, a little hip hop. And they added this guy to the band who's kind of like a singer / hype man, which was dope. But they did their thing. The comedy was stupendously funny. Timmy Hall, Sean Harvey, Ray Gibbs. It was dumb funny, like stupid funny. And DJ Rasheen, who's my guy. He's rocking so crazy. I think we gave him 3 in a row because we like to mix the bands up. We obviously change the comics up and the DJs up. And Rasheen, this will be his 3rd one coming up. But that was dope Friday night. So then Saturday didn't happen. So I was like, all right, you know what? Substitute, hard right turn. I'm gonna make a day out of it, close to the crib. Got some stuff done around the house, the dogs and everything. Shout out to my girl dog, Sheba. She done had her puppy, so she's done with that. So that, we're in that phase now. But what I did Saturday that kind of eased, I don't want to say tension, but just the mental stress, if you will, is I went to check out The Woman King. And, bruh, I've been telling everybody since the moment I stepped out of this theater to now, on the phone all day, on video conference calls, anybody I see in person, you need to go see The Woman King. And it's for several reasons. It's dope in its entirety, just as a movie, it's dope. But I ain't gonna front. I got teary-eyed at least 4 times in this movie because I'm a history buff. So looking at it from the history standpoint, here we are dealing with Africa and the slave trade and all that stuff amongst everything intertwined in story. But it was the first time seeing it from an African on African POV, if you will. Because once we see what we didn't know about our history is for a long time, it was so. That's why I hate that broad brushing shit and that editing thing. Because when you tell a story like that, you paint a picture, and now in hindsight, we know why the picture was kind of dulled down because you don't want to let out all the terrifying shit that was done. But we was like broad stroke in school learning slavery, like, oh, white man went over there, took slaves back to the new land and, different places. And it was slaves up until this point. And it was just that simple, which it wasn't that simple. It was a lot deeper than that. They actually came like they did to other coasts that they went to and became traders. They just happened to find African tribes that was willing to trade other Africans into slavery, into bondage. So this story kind of was right in there, with the ones who did and the ones who, had to wake up one day and say, we're going to stop that. We're going to we're gonna trade this other shit. We're gonna stop trading our brothers and sisters, even though they may be a different tribe and we don't get along with our kids. It's wrong. They are brothers and sisters. So that take for me was dope and heavy. Heavy in a good way. But I urge everybody to see. I don't want to give too much of it away, but all I will say in my compliments is super immaculate casting. That's when you know you're a movie buff. You look at shit like cinematography, storyline, editing, and what stands out with anything that I watch cinematically is casting. When you walk away from a movie, a story based on true events or whatever, or they're trying to get you to believe these characters or whatever, when you don't believe them or don't like the movie, is it because they've casted the wrong people? Did these people not fulfill their character to an extent that made you believe them, that they was that person or went through that thing? This one did. I was just looking at the cast and like, yeah, damn, everybody's like killing their parts. Like, I can't pick no holes in it. So kudos to the Woman King, man. And then I had to get up early and go to Philadelphia to be with one of our, constituents, a part of Robin Hood Entertainment. I think Michelle got down with Robin Hood and came to us in 2008 or 2009. That's how long she's been down. And you know how it is. She turned 50 and she wanted to do something intimate with, people close to her at this seafood restaurant in Rittenhouse Square, downtown Philly, which was amazing. And, to her surprise, when the bill came, Robin Hood Entertainment, we covered it. Because that's just a gesture, small gesture of all that work, volunteer or not, for how many years of taking care of Robin Hood stuff, that it's the least we can do. You know what I mean? We in here, the bill comes, you know what? We got that. Everybody just leave a tip. Happy birthday, happy 50th. She's on her way to, I think tomorrow she goes to, where she's going? She's going to one of the islands for a week and just, she deserves it. You know what I mean? So happy birthday to Michelle, Annette Wilson, who Robin Hood salute you. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? For all your years in the game with us. We appreciate you, man. Over a decade with Robin Hood, 15 years, whatever it is, we appreciate you. And that was the weekend, bro. That's what it was all about. So in turn, it ended up being, I told her, I said, you know what? I was a little in the funk from my Saturday misconception of a gig that fell through, that this brought me all the way back, which I needed because it's going to be a hectic ass, busy ass week right here. So happy weekend to everybody out there. Happy, I'm glad you had a good weekend, Prophet Pete and Amir as well. But here we go. Motivation Monday. We in your face, people. It's Amir Sealy, Prophet Pete, super producer. I asked him to sit in because it's a special Monday, man. I don't know why I feel like it's a special Monday, but it is, and we're all here three-piecing it today. All right, so first thing I want to dive into, like you hear me hinting on the weekend, and the Saturday thing falling through. Now here's my thing, and this topic is holding friends accountable. All right, and what made me think of this was Saturday, because we do things. I'm trying to make it general and not just about what I do for a living, but we generally do things for friends. And when we do things for friends, if it happened to be something that you do for a living, let's say, Prophet Pete, you're a caterer, right? You cook. And a friend of yours is having a thing, or a friend of a friend. Your friend who's cool with you call you and go, hey, man, my friend's having something, man. I told him you cook real good. I want, told her get you to cater the joint, man, but don't kill her in the price, man. Give her a love discount, whatever. And you do that, right? And then something goes wrong where last minute, now, Pete, you done bought all the food, you done did the prep work that you do as a cook and caterer, whatever. You got it all lined up. You done got babysitters with kids. You done did a lot to get prepared for this day. And now you're reaching out to the friend, who you're doing a favor for, and it's like, yo, I need details. What time can I load in? Or what time do I get in the kitchen? Or whatever it is. And you're not getting a hit back. You're not getting a hit back. And you finally get a hit back, and it's like, oh, man, I don't even speak to her no more. You're gonna be like, yo, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even speak to her no more, man. I'll call her, find out, blah, 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 whatever. And in the midst of waiting, another friend sees you posted or whatever and hits you up and like, dog, you know that's canceled, right? And you're like, what? Like, yeah, it's canceled. So in my instance, Black and Gold Productions is a production company that I consider my parent company because I learned so much from them. I say it on the microphone all the time. It's not about stealing or trying to sneak some stuff. I say it out loud. You guys are role models for what I do too. So I'm taking notes. I care about your constituency. You care about how you move, how you give more bang for the buck, and blah, blah, blah. So over the years, over the past 15, whatever years, 20 years, I've been modeling Robin Hood's things kind of behind their things. You know what I mean? They're a little older than me. I may get a younger group or whatever, but I'm modeling how you do it, why you do it, and how you are connected with your people. So this guy, he's one of the guys associated with the group. So I'm giving him love based off of the head guy, right? He calls for that favor. Hey, they raising money for cancer, this, that, the third. Man, don't hit us over the head. I chopped my price way below half just to do that. Now, that's part one of the problem. Part two of the problem is when I do stuff like that, because it's here at home, it was supposed to be in the Bronx, because it's here at home, now I have to change my routing the days before and after to make sure that I could be here to do it. So it's not, my schedule's not that simple. I can't just say, oh yeah, Amir, I'll be at your party Friday. If I say I'm gonna be at Amir's party Friday, there's a whole, almost a week, 4 days to a week of programming. I have to situate a certain way to make sure I'm here for Amir's party. You understand what I'm saying? So I strategically got to do all that. So I'm so upset to do it. Of course, I got to call the father of it all and say, bro, I just want to give you a heads up so that if anybody cries for you, you know where I'm coming from. I said, but from now on, if any of your people call me, even though they're close to you and they work with you for anything, I'm not doing anything. Because I feel like, and then this goes back what Prophet P said in the beginning. That's why I said, I feel you when people don't respect what you do. Like, you call me, bro. I did all of this stuff in this replanning and positioning and scheduling to make your event. When you fell out with this lady or this organization or whatever, immediately the first call you should have made was to me because you got me for them. So you should have called, if nothing else, just to give me the option, yo, T. Yeah, I'm not doing this thing with them, bro. So if you want to fall out, it's all good. Or if you want me to connect you direct and still do it, whatever. I got to know either way. I don't know. I'm waiting for this dude the day before. And Amir sees it and goes, T, you know this thing canceled. And I said, nah. He's like, yeah, they've been canceled. I was like, now I'm upset. That makes me call the other dude. So that puts in my mind, I said, you know what, Motivation Monday, because this happens to everybody all the time. We got to hold our friends accountable. From this point forward, and you can feel free, people, to move like I move, but I made a conscious decision that if Amir calls me and say, T, do this for my friend over here, I'm holding Amir accountable. You can't pass it to these people because Amir vouched for you. The only reason I'm doing this for you, the way I'm doing it, because Amir said, T, these my people. Yo, you know what I mean? And they know you my people, and please, for me, can you boom? No problem. But the original friend will, from now on, be held super accountable because I don't know these people. I didn't cut the deal for these people. I cut the deal for you. And if you drop the ball, it's nothing but to pick the phone and go, hey, man, sorry, man. This thing ain't happening. Blah, 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 whatever. I gotta make it right. Now, so much goes into that friend thing. In a normal booking or whatever, I'm getting a deposit because things cancel all the time. So when it cancels, okay, that's what the deposit's for. So that you didn't make all your money, but you got something for your inconvenience. You feel what I'm saying? That's business 101. But again, friend. So, all right, I'm gonna give you leeway because I want you to help any way I can for your thing to work. But it don't work. And not only do it don't work, before it's even canceled, you excommunicated and not affiliated. How do I not get that call?
You know what, T? Like it's so paramount that you brought that up as, like you said, our first thing to talk about today. I think that, to your point, first and foremost, accountability is paramount for everything. It's not only just for friendships and for things. Accountability. We have got to get in the habit, especially when we're doing anything. It doesn't even make a difference if it's business, it's personal, whatever the case may be. But we got to be more accountable to ourselves. But most certainly, we have to be accountable to the people who we then ask to be a part of something that is, like you said, adjacent. Because it's not you, it's somebody who's affiliated with you or close to you. And in that regard, everybody's got to take accountability. But first and foremost, not only do you take accountability, but you stay on top of it. And if you stay on top of it, that means you make all pertinent phone calls, you make all pertinent arrangements, everything that needs to happen in order to allow somebody who you asked to be a part of something, make sure that they're taken care of. Because your name and your reputation is on the line. Talent hit it perfectly on the head when he said that part. This is your name and your reputation. This has nothing to do with talent at this point, because talent is going, again, like he said, off of the strength of you and your affiliation to the situation. This has nothing to do with the people who the event is about and all that stuff, other than they're having an event and he's being asked to be a part of that. And I think that, so often I find, and especially at this stage of our lives, there is lack of accountability for everything. People don't want to say sorry, my bad. Hey, I could have handled that differently. All these things are viable and vibrant ways for you to be able to not only take accountability, but diffuse the situation so that you and the person who you were trying to get involved, now your situation isn't strained or isn't broken, to no avail. We have got to do better when it comes to trying to bridge gaps or bridge things between ourselves and the people we're affiliated with. And talent, is the master of this. He talks about this all the time. I've seen him do it. You also got to know what factions work with what factions. I know we'd all like to believe that because we're on the same playing field, meaning we hang around the same people, we're in and around each other in the same spaces and same places. That doesn't mean necessarily it's going to mesh together. That just means that there were some moments when y'all are all on the same frequency, God, thankfully. But that doesn't mean that the whole entire thing is going to play out the way that you think that it's going to play out. So you got to be very careful and cautious about that as well. But bigger than that is, like, Prophet P said, and like Talent said, be accountable for the people who you bring into a situation. Do not drop the ball, go, oh, I don't have anything to do with it anymore. That's not acceptable under any circumstance. And that doesn't make a difference if you and the person fell out, they had to go to jail or something crazy like that. Your job is to still, hold up, let me make sure that this thing flows as smooth as it's supposed to flow. Because, like I said, your is on the line. You're accountable. This is about you. So please, y'all, let's work on that. Let's get better at those kinds of things, because the grander picture is your reputation and your name is on the line.
Absolutely, all day, every day. You know what I mean? And Pete, I know you've been through it, because you're like, I wish I could get away. It's something so simple that people make so trivial to me. Like, I go through this every day, all day, because of being in a marketing, promoting company where I'm always constantly booking comics and entertainment on gigs. Sometimes, things go haywire. You gotta change the date. You gotta postpone, push it back. Gotta cancel it. Place closed down. Somebody got sick. These things happen. You don't want to make the call, but you gotta make the call. I gotta pick the phone up now. Everybody involved, from the DJ to the club to the comics to whatever, I gotta call everybody and say, hey man, this is where we at. This happened. Sorry about that. Can you do this? Blah blah blah, and make it up. And then even further. So God forbid, when my people, like we bring up from like the trips, when my people were handling the paperwork and the clerical work for ski trips and crab feasts and island getaways and cruises and all that, when something big happened and you got all these people you sold packages to, my people got to get on the phone individually, one by one, and call each person. Now, each person is going to have a different reaction. You're going to get the person like, oh, word, I understand. Okay, well, keep me abreast. I'm down. Let me know. Then you're going to get the person at that extreme all the way to this room. Fuck that. Give my money back. I'm suing you niggas. Da, da, da. You're going to get everything in between those two extremes. But as a grown-up, as an adult, you still have to make the call. You are accountable. This is on you. You know, this is something that you're the spearhead of, and people expect you. And you know, different than when, God forbid, something happens and the artist can't show that night. Somebody got to get up there and say, hey, man. And you know, they ready, whoever it is. Hey, man, I know y'all ready for so-and-so. Playing and blah, blah. Look at the, like, dude, if I had $1 in the last 5-6 months, I had to do that because we seen what the plane struggle was, the airline struggles, and it was real. And thank God people do watch enough news that they know you're not bullshitting. Yeah. And this is something that's happened to everybody. You know, celebrities are not fucking, you're not, you know, obscure or exempt from these things happen. You're human. You fly like I fly. It could happen to you. It's happened to me. I hardly ever miss my kid, but it happened a couple of times in the last, you know, year or so. So let's just say that to wrap that one topic up is people, I really, really need you guys to be adults going forward. If I could motivate people to do anything else, be an adult. You still got grown people, and this is not a knock on anybody to live with their parents. But listen to what I'm saying. You still got grown people that live with their parents, which that part is not the worst thing in the world. The worst part is when you move like you don't live with your parents, towards your parents. You can't live with your parents and move like it's no shit to your parents. That's the most disrespectful shit you can fucking ever do to your parents. Walk in and out of their house. They struggled the last 60 years on paying off or whatever, and you talking shit to them like, shut the fuck up, close the door. Nigga. You just love in this house. Remember your mother used to be like, man, if you only open that fucking door. Close the door. Me, nigga, no, all doors open. All doors stay open. Remember that shit? So let's just be accountable. Let's follow speed and move like we move. That's just me going forward. I never really had to do that, but I felt like, you know what? You know, as we get older, we get wiser, and we have to just tweak out. And I think that's a little tightness tweak I can do. Like I'm one of those guys, I'll be honest with you. And maybe sometimes, not even maybe, sometimes too, I give the benefit of the doubt. Because I think it has something to do with being a black man in America. Being a black man in America, how many times we get pissed off in the course of the week because people just look at us and assume shit. You know, our white, our Caucasian constituency, you know, look at you, oh, you look like you ain't up to no good, and you know, why you got on a hoodie? Because it's raining, motherfucker. It's cold. But because of that shit on a daily basis, we feel like, you know what, I'm not gonna be like that guy. I'm gonna look at this guy and deal with him at face value, give you the rope to do some dumb shit before I say, you know what, I'm not fucking with you. You know what I mean? So everybody going forward, you can put that, nip that wherever you want. Just wanted to put that out there as topic number one. Moving on, topic number two is I'm gonna shift over to the kids, to my parents out there. I want to talk a few motivating words to our parents out there. I talked to a couple of people, had the privilege, I must say that, over the last week or two. And I don't know how, and these are separate random ass occasions where we end up on these remember when childhood conversations. And a couple of them, well, maybe a few, 3 or 4 of them out of, let's say I talked to 12 people, 3 or 4 of them had something similar going on that reminded me of friends that I grew up with in high school, where they had these parents that, and don't get me wrong, I understand what a strict parent is. I understand somebody putting their fucking, you know, keeping their shit on your jugular to make sure you come out right and get the job done and get the grades they want you to get, go to school and you get the career you want. And basically, they just want you to be the best you could be before they pass you the fucking baton and do like this. But here's the thing. what I've learned in comparison to these other few people's childhood is they had parents that were so strict. And don't get me wrong, I consider myself a nice, disciplined parent. I'm they call for the final discipline. But in the same token, what I call a balance in my life is I do these little rewards. I make sure I do little rewards. And I need parents to understand something. No matter how strict you are, little rewards matter. And talking to these grown-ups, when they went back, their face went serious, went blank. And the only thing that stood out to them is that it was so much consecutive strictness and no openings for a lot of good times and fun and laughing and all that. It kind of stuck with them and kind of made them, for lack of a better word, stiffies as adults. Now they're stiff, because they haven't had that balance. If you have kids, you must remember that the little rewards, they count. As much as I whooped my kids' ass coming up, and as much fear as I was able to put into these kids, they still respected the reward part. Like, it wasn't to a point where they, even my nephews and nieces, like, we don't want to go with Uncle T. He'd be fucking us up. Or, the kids was like, nah, I'd rather stay in the house. When them rewards came around, them niggas was the first niggas wanting to go. They was piling in my goddamn cars and trucks like, yeah, I'm going to New Rock City Saturday, hang out. We want to go. Didn't I just whoop your ass? Yeah, but fuck all that. You about to get rewards now. We know you go all out. We gonna bowl. We gonna eat. We gonna get ice cream. We probably get some movies, and which is true because I'll come home. Just made a bag. I paid the bills and whatever little check. You know what I'm gonna do today? I'm around. Where's the kids at? Give me the kids. Boom. I ain't got no problem grabbing 4, 5, 6, 7 at a time and go out because all that shit that people complain about, they're not gonna do that around me. They're gonna get those rewards. And, in the midst of our day, we talk, and they're gonna tell me all the good things they're doing because they want more rewards. And if it is good, I'm gonna give more rewards. I was gonna come out here with you. They check the report card, and if it's all that, you see what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to get to the parents is how you play the game is how it's remembered, and more importantly, how it stays with them as they come into young adulthood and to full adulthood. We don't forget. We could push stuff to the back, but we really didn't forget. And all it takes is that one thing to bring all of that flushing back. And in this case, it was like just us sipping, socially drinking and laughing and bringing up our childhood. And then for some of us, it was great. And for a few of us, it was like, yeah,
No, it's so funny. I agree with you, man. I try to tell people all the time, while I do think that in some instances, as parents of today, we seem to give our kids in some cases too much, just in generally speaking, not individually, but generally speaking. But you're absolutely right. And something else that we have to, really be mindful of, because, just like you, I've been having conversations with, various friends in different spaces, and we don't understand that not only is rewarding something that your kids remember, but all of your actions, your kids actually pattern themselves after and intake just by being in the room, osmosis, whatever you want to call it. They watch what you do. Yes, we are, a group of people who always says, listen to what I say and then watch what I do. But trust and believe they're doing both, first off. Secondly, it just behooves you as a person who has gone through certain things in your life to try to figure out ways where you can make adjustments so that your kids may or may not have to have exactly the same experiences that you had, but they have some experience, because at the end of the day, you're still trying to help them become productive. You're still trying to help them become young people who can problem solve and, who can figure things out on their own. Because as much as we'd love to, believe we're going to be here forever, we're not. And at some point, if you're doing everything for your children, you're rewarding them and doing all this stuff, but you're not teaching them how to critically think and how to move and shake in a way that allows them to put themselves in those positions to, be able to do for self, you're doing them a disservice, because at the end of the day, they still have to be here to deal with the world as it, currently stands. It's funny, just in this, same time span, my youngest daughter turned 17 on September 10th. So I called her, and I'm talking to her on the phone. I'm like, "How's school?" And she said, "Oh, school was good." I said, "What'd you do all summer?" Just hung around with mommy. This is her senior year in high school. So, I said, "Well, we looking at college?" She was like, "I don't know if I want to go to college." I said, "Well, what else you got on your agenda?" So I'm thinking about culinary school. So I said, "Well, culinary school is dope." I said, "If you choose to go to culinary school, I got no beef with that, because Daddy did go to culinary school for a year and a half, so understand some of the dynamics of it." I said, "And because you're a creative spirit and being, that probably is going to be a better thing for you than maybe going to college, because cooking will allow that creativity to come out in various ways, depending on what direction you go in once you decide that culinary is where you want to be." So I'm absolutely on board with you when you say, we got to have those little rewards, because what happens is those lead to your kids not growing up with this mentality sometimes of everything is no. Because I've, gotten the opportunity to speak to, and I'm sure, you gentlemen may have over the course of, your dating careers, where you speak to a woman who says, "My mother and father told me no all the time." And I'm like, "Look, first of all, I'm sorry to hear that, but don't take that out on me. That's I had nothing to do with that." But I do understand the train of thought behind it and the energy behind it. So I'm always trying to get people to understand that a lot of times the behaviors that we're seeing, good, bad, and different, come from exactly what you're talking about. Those childhood experiences that you haven't healed up from. And this is why, Motivational Monday in particular is so powerful and pertinent to me, because I know that there are so many things that people are not healing from just because of how they approach things, how they explain it to you, and their reaction when you're in certain, moments. You're like, "Oh, that's some childhood trauma joint, or that you used to mess you up with that." You know what I mean? And it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just good. It's just great that you're able to recognize that, because then you don't take on the brunt of feeling like you triggered something. You didn't. All you did was be yourself. And because they've never gotten over the past experience of it, they're now taking it out on you, which, again, play call. You throw the flag. Hey, flag on the play.
And depending on how bad it is, Amir, now we're talking about PTSD.
Yeah, exactly.
Depending on how bad it is, how it have you, inside you. Like you said, people. Perfect example is battered wife syndrome. The guy who's beating up the woman on the regular, that's probably what he saw. That's probably what he was around all the time. And he processed that as what couples do. Oh, that he loved mommy, so he checking mommy with his fist or whatever. And then when he grow up and he get engaged or girlfriend or married, in turn he's doing that, and he don't even see nothing wrong with it, because that's what he saw growing up. Now that's what I mean by there has to be a balance. When I say little rewards, I say that because I want people to think that you got to do this extravagant big thing every time to reward somebody. The little reward is enough to give off the one thing that you want to remain here in that child and the young adult's mind: acknowledgement.
Yes.
You've been pressing them to do good, so they did something good. Acknowledge it. Don't tell me to do something, then I go do it good and nobody say shit. Can you imagine your father fucking raised you, trying to get you in the NBA, did all this shit, every basketball camp, whatever, and every time you score, you hit the buzzer beater, everybody leave the gym. Nobody said nothing to you. You don't even
Yeah, I got
the gym. And you like, after a while, it's like, fuck am I doing this? I ain't gotta go this hard. Nobody acknowledge it anyway. But when people run out on that floor, like, you want to get that feeling, it's incredible. What kind of childhood, Pete, if you don't mind, did you have? Would you say your shit was regular, normal, constricted? What?
I would say, because I grew up with both my parents. So
nobody asked you to show off. That was a simple son of a bitch.
But no. But it was a balance between the two. Like my father was like super duper strict, he would give rewards, and he gave the small rewards, but it was very little acknowledgement when certain things would happen. Like the rewards when it came to my pops was we would go to the movies every Sunday over in Whitestone, over in the Bronx. My mom's, it was more of an everyday acknowledgement. It was more of a, oh, you doing good, yo, I see your grades or whatever. So for me, it was, I got the best of both worlds. But back to the small rewards points, there's a lot of people that reward bad behavior. So being devil's advocate on that, how would that actually work out? That you're rewarding bad behavior, and even if it's small or big rewards, you know, I don't know. I think that could come from the lack of acknowledgement.
Well, bad behavior rewards mostly. I'm not saying all the time, 100%, but mostly it comes from bad places. Like rewards for bad behavior comes from your streets, your friends. Like the perfect example, when I was coming up, you know, your friends are your friends, right? So we might have been coming from the same projects or whatever, but this guy's not doing good in school to the point where he get expelled from school indefinitely or whatever. Here I am, a humanities student, blah, blah, blah. Now, if I was to cut school because he ain't in school and do some shit with him, oh, he gonna reward me with good friendship. And don't worry, I'm gonna buy the ice cream. I'm gonna get the candy. I'm gonna get the soda to entice me. Like, yeah, this is what I should be instead of in there. Your parents, on the other hand, you know, that's why I take it back to the parents. You really don't have it. The only way you have parents, and there's exceptions to every rule. Again, I'm talking generally. The parents that reward bad behavior are parents that are doing bad shit. So if your father is the neighborhood drug dealer and he's slowly, and I'm only bringing this analogy up because I just finished watching Raising Kanan, right? So if your father is the drug dealer and your son's a teenager or whatever, comes of age where he slowly make the rounds with me and run this and put that over there, blah, blah, and we'll get you some sneakers. You want them new ones and whatever. That's rewarding bad behavior because this father is doing a disservice to the kid because he's not even looking to break the chain. He's looking to continue the chain through the son. That's rewarding bad behavior in the parent sense right there. But for most, like me growing up, and you know, we grew up poor like everybody else in the projects and all that, but it was still a community. And you know how it is back in the day. Shit, if your mother, if they was close enough to your mom or your pop, they go up your ass. So there wasn't a whole lot of rewarding back. All the rewards for bad behavior came from those people who were helping you and enabling you to fuck up. That's straight up and down. You know, my mom never gave me a reward for doing a bad thing or whatever the case may be, or my dad never did that. My grandparents never did that. Shit, older sisters and aunts and uncles, they never did that. The only people that rewarded me for doing bad shit was the people who were already doing bad shit, and I either was helping them or an asset to them, and in any form of fashion. Could be a minute, could be a day, could be a week, but it could be anything. You could be that diversion to get away from the cops, or hide the drugs, or steal some shit from the store, or whatever. So those guys, like I've been there. I've been in the store with motherfuckers I ain't know they stealing, and they steal some shit. Come on, let's go. And you get outside and they pull the shit out. Yeah, look what you like. Yo, you crazy? Yeah, take one. This motherfucker just rewarded you with stolen property. First of all, you're like, dang, I ain't even know you're stealing. Second of all, this is a nice shirt. So, you know what I mean? So my thing is, and I've seen it too. Growing up, I've seen certain parents, some of my colleagues and students, and people I went to school with, that they parenting was different in the house, and it was, and you know how kids are. As soon as you get outside, we talk about it. You be like, damn, yo, your mother don't let you do nothing, like, or damn, blah blah blah, whatever the case may be. But we also don't know. It's sort of like today. We also don't know what the fuck you doing behind closed doors for your parents to treat you like that. Mm-hmm. We don't know. Like, you one way with us in the school, the streets, walking home, whatever, going to the pool, going to the movies. We don't know what the fuck you terrorizing motherfucker you is in your own house. Yeah. Like I said, it's about the guy living in the mom's house, but he's moving around the house like it ain't her house, like treating her like shit. You know what I mean? You're only there, bro, because she love you and trying to help. But you walking around like she didn't spend 50 fucking years of her life paying this house off or keeping a roof over your head. So those things we just got to watch out for. I believe that it's a lot easier than some people think. Because I've heard parents, oh, fuck that, I ain't gonna spoil them, like a little reward spoiling. It's not spoiling. It's acknowledging the path you want this kid to take. It's simple. If I see my kid take a step a way I like two things I pay attention to. Obviously, school, grades, right? Well, let's make three things, because the respect of their mother. No, I could hate my kid's mother. I could want to smack shit out of myself. I could want to drown this bitch. But I won't tolerate it from her kids. I don't care if you know that I'm mad at mommy. You will not disrespect your mother. I won't have it. I won't have it. I'm holding back from killing the bitch. You can't say nothing.
Yeah. No, that's real talk.
I can't kill her the way I want to kill her. You can't say shit. So that's rule number two. And the third thing is, and I don't know if it's just my natural thing or what I do for a living, but I was very adamant about making my kids have a sense of humor or laugh. And, I needed to see you laugh. I can't be around a kid and he don't never laugh. That's abnormal to me. I don't give a fuck what it's about. A cartoon you like, some goofy America's Funniest Home Videos, we watching it together, or somebody fell asleep, or me and you crack a joke or find something funny. We must laugh and find something funny to laugh at, because this is part of you growing up. You need to be a man or a woman with some sort of sense of humor. I'm not trying to put stiff people out in the world. We got enough stiff motherfuckers in the world.
Yeah.
It's called colors. I'm just
right.
But, hold on. Let's take a break and get the jewel of the day. Amir, you ready to drop a jewel of the day?
Yes, sir. Let's sir.
All right, here we go, y'all. It's the jewel of the day.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? It's Motivational Monday, and this is the jewel of the day. Whatever your gift is, and it could be anything, it could be cooking, it could be you have the gift of gab, whatever it is, please continue to share your gift with the people in your tribe. I promise you there is something that is incredibly rewarding behind being able to do that, in the sense that you will start to hear stories, or people will text you, people will come up to you in the street, wherever it may be, and they will say to you, thank you for whatever it is, again, you bring to the table. You might make the best apple pies. You might be the person who, always thanks everybody and kind of keeps people together. Whatever that gift is, please continue to share it. Do not look for an immediate return on your services, because you have no idea, one, who's listening to you, two, who's watching you, and three, who's benefiting from what it is you're doing. I had a really interesting thing happen on my way home from LA. I was on the flight from Vegas to Baltimore, because I had a connecting flight. And I was on the plane, and the gentleman sat next to me, and as it turns out, he's an up-and-coming comedian from Baltimore, white guy. I think his name is Bill something. But he and I had a great conversation, literally from Vegas to Baltimore. And he struck up the conversation. I was just going to keep to myself or whatever. But by the time we got off the flight, he said to me, first off, I just want to thank you for such an amazing conversation. And we talked about comedy, and, like I said, he's sort of new to it. He says he's 36. He hasn't been doing it for maybe a year or whatever, so he's not as into it as he would like to be. But he was explaining to me that he spent a greater portion of his life trying to please his parents and do what they wanted him to do. So this is why I bring this up. And he said he was miserable. So my point to everybody is, you just never know what you're bringing to the table and bringing to somebody to help them through and past whatever they may be going through. By the time I got off that flight, the dude had me, feeling like a rock star, because he was just feeling great about the information that I had imparted on him not only about his career, but about life, about comedy, and some of the things that I, was privy to and knew and understood. And it just was a great feeling. So I bring that as the jewel of the day. Continue to share your gift. It's called a gift for a reason. Keep giving, keep sharing, and allow the world to understand it in a way that they need to understand it. It's not for you to put it out in any specific way. It's just for you to share. So that's the jewel of the day.
I like that, man. I like that, brother.
T, it was so crazy because, like I said, the gentleman, middle seat. He said, man, he sat down, no big deal. He was texting on his phone. I wasn't thinking anything about it. I drifted off for a hot second, but when I woke up, he just struck up a conversation. And like I said, he was talking. He was like, yeah, just kind of been in comedy. And I brought your name up in the field. He was like, well, I'm not familiar with those guys. And I was like, I didn't think you would be, but that's neither here nor there. And I just was telling him, I was like, I said, if comedy is really what you want to do, because he was, throwing it back to me. He was like, I can see you doing comedy. He said, because you have a very unique and funny way of just telling stories. He said, but they're so relatable and so cool. So I was laughing because I was telling him, I said, yeah, they keep trying to tell me the same thing. I said, look, I'm not getting fooled by any of y'all. I'm gonna continue to stay in my lane. I said, comedy is what you guys do, y'all. It's where you live. I said, I'm just a super fan. So we, like I said, but it was just a great moment. And I just, thought to myself, I said, wow, it's so cool that you don't know. And he said to me, he said, you gave me so many different things to, really think about and add, to what what I've been doing and how I've been going about this game. And I said to him, I said, well, brother, I've definitely got your card. I'm gonna be looking for you. I said, and hopefully if you ever come to New York and you're, in town.
Did he seem sad? Or
no, he said what he said was there was some sort of a comedic convention. He said actually that was happening in Vegas where there was some certain classes and certain things that you could learn. And he said, he learned a lot of really good information. He brought up a few other names. As a matter of fact, he even mentioned that James Madison, the president from way back in the day, apparently his granddaughter, I think, is in comedy. And he was saying how, she had overcome alcoholism. And it was, like I said, it was a dope conversation. Man, he was talking about all kind of crazy stuff. I was on a plane like, really? That's interesting. I was like, wow, because it was like, she's black, partially black or whatever. And he was like, most of James Madison kids were black. A lot of people don't know. He was going in. He was like, it messed her up, and I was sitting in there like this. So first of all, I got
you know what's interesting about that? Just a little inside fun fact for people with comedians. There's two kind of comedians of how they fall into the line of work, right? You have people that they like most comedians, they have a backstory that's amazing, like with in depth. And they've been through a ton of shit, right? So you have these people that, like myself, I'm just funny. Like I know that I'm funny. Like I felt the calling and I'm funny and I had to go on stage. But you have these people that they don't know that they're funny. They just know they need an outlet. And they need, where can I go and really just talk about all this shit that's on my mind and that I'm going. So I don't go crazy, basically, and just talk this shit or whatever. And then in doing that, they learn to be funny with it. Then you have people like me that we're just funny. So we know that we belong on stage. We go get on stage, grab a mic. Now we got to learn what the fuck we going to talk about. So look how crazy the contrast to that is, though. Yeah. Half of us are out there because we need to not go fucking crazy and kill somebody. And in the midst of talking and telling all these stories, I'm going to find a funny twang and way to say it. Boom, I'm a comedian that way. Then you got the other people like me that go out there like, I just know I'm funny, but okay, after about 5 minutes, like, what the fuck am
I talking? But Amir, I can tell you, if you ever, the day that you decide you want to get on the stage for 5 minutes and you booked and busy, just let me know, because I don't care where I'm at in this world. I swear to God, I will be there. Like I'm telling you, because me and
I don't
you
want to
have
be
to
there.
smoke. Like, you say you don't want to be there. Hey,
I don't want to be. Let me tell you why I don't want to be there. I know me. God forbid it doesn't go well. Now, if it goes well,
don't worry. I'll bring my own speakers and I'll bring the applause with me. It's okay.
But God forbid it don't go well. Amir know what I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah,
and I don't want to do that to my friend. But no, that's just a fun fact of comedy. I got one last topic. We got a few minutes, so I figure we just hit this against the wall. The topic is my brother's keeper, and it might not be what it sounds like at first, but how I come up on this is our mantra for the last couple of years has been we've all agreed and come to the point of Black people in general are targeted people in this country. They're the most sought after for wrongdoing, even from our own protectors, supposedly at the police and the powers that be up and down the executive spectrums. With that came out, the Black woman being the most unprotected, right? And I agree with it to an extent. I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's, the end all be all of right either, but I do believe we need to protect our sisters. But in saying that, I also thought in turn, because I've in my line of work, I see a lot of times where that is not reciprocated. So ladies, are you your brother's keeper? Yeah, we need to protect our queens, our Black women and all that. But are you Black queens? And all you sisters out there, whether you're somebody's sister, auntie, mother, grandmother, daughter, are you out there on the forefront looking out and protecting the brothers that you see around you as well? Are you, telling somebody about, like we were just talking about before, doing wrong and rewarding bad? Are you that person that will step and pull somebody to the side and say, let me ask you a question. Why are you going to do that? Don't do that. Because what's going to happen is you're going to do that. They're going to call police, or they got a gun behind there. It's going to escalate. This is going to happen, whatever the case may be. We need more of that too. We need more of my brother's keepers too as well. Because collectively as a people, we are the most sought after for wrongdoing. I'm telling you. The scale's not weighing more this way. You got that color. You got that pigmentation. They will come for you. Will they come for you different? Maybe. It may come for a woman different ways than they come for a man, because we have a lot of beautiful Black queens with voluptuality that the other people have always looked after lustingly, and that may come into fruition quicker than it will a male specimen. A group of crazy drunk hicks, rednecks in a pickup truck like Aubrey may want to beat you to death or shoot you with a shotgun or something like that. But when it comes to the woman, their first idea may not be the shotgun. It may be like, hold her down and let's take turns and violate her and get some of that, black of the berry. How they always make their little jokes when they're doing shit like that. Black of the berry, sweet and juice shit. So we're both are targets. Let me just say that. And we know we've been drilling this mantra for the last couple of years, and even to the point where I feel like I find myself looking for these possible human trafficking plots and potholes, if you will. It's just here now. I was close to one time, kids years ago. I've never gotten over that. I think I got PTSD of that shit. So now I find myself looking at little potholes of this shit, the possibilities. You know what I mean? Like shit looks a little irregular. Fuck these dudes doing over here. Why is that guy sitting here with a coffee or a soda at the kids' playground? Which one of them in there is yours, sir? None of them. Well, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I like go watch them play on TV or go get your nephew or you know what I'm saying? Like, but this is uncomfortable and awkward to the people who are in here with their kids. So I think that we have to be each other's keeper. And this message is thrown out to my sisters and my queens, like, protect your brothers too, and don't be afraid. And I get it. I get it because I got 5 sisters. I get it that I used to hear this growing up. Women will stay silent or not approach men because they don't want it to be taken the wrong way. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I mean that in the best way. Like, you may be a half decent looking chick and see a brother where you want to go say something to help, but I don't want to go up there and then this motherfucker get belligerent with me or verbally, sexually, you know what I mean? Like, innuendo-ish with me, bro. That's not why I'm over here. I'm coming to you as a sister to say, I know what's going to happen over here. Don't do it. Cooler heads prevail. Come here, let me buy you a drink, or let me walk you to the car. Well, but not, we don't need you to take it to the next level. So I understand why some women will be apprehensive in that case or whatever, but I do want to be adamant and putting it out there that we do need to be our sisters and our brothers' keepers.
And I'll just echo this, because I think, to add on to what you're saying, in both cases, we have to be sympathetic and empathetic to this ideology. Both sides are dealing with tremendous pressure. I know a lot of times, we don't think that maybe the guys are dealing with pressure or under any kind of, real, because, you're a man and you're supposed to be strong and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But the reality of it all is, to T's point, we're always dealing with color. We're always dealing with the mere fact that in some way, shape, or form, our surroundings may lead or may put us in a space or in an energy where we have to diffuse that energy either ourselves or really be cognizant of it so that we don't fall victim to whatever's going on in the space at that time. Bigger and better than that, and this is why I said, there's duality to this, is the ideology of, as a man, we're thinking of things on a constant basis, everything from not only making sure we protect ourselves or that we do the things that we need to do for ourselves, to ensuring and making sure that we take care of all of the other surrounding things. So for those of us who may still have our parents, and if they're up there in age, you're worried about, how do I make sure mom and dad is good? If you have a lady in your life or you're married, you're trying to make sure that your wife and, and your kids are good. So there's always compounding things that we're constantly trying to, prioritize and move around in the spaces we need to move it around in so that we can get the optimum results that we're looking for. And like I said, that goes for, you ladies as well. But to T's point, please don't be so self-absorbed that you feel or think that because you have an immediate need or something is imminent in your, world at the time, that it trumps everything else that might possibly be going on in our world, because we are always constantly trying to help you with your world, but also make sure we take care of our world and the collective, as a whole. So I think that that's a paramount thing that you brought up, being each other's keeper, brothers and sisters keeper. We need to do better than that. Yes, sir.
I want to piggyback off of what you just said right now. And there's a lack of communication in our communities. And that's it. Like, it definitely is. So someone sees somebody about to do something bad, we need to plug ourselves in the best way possible. We might not have their phone number, so we can't send them a text message. Or we can't sit there and say, yo, you know what, I'm going to share this post with you. It's more of a, you know what, I got to get up close and personal with you. And I might have to walk up to you and tell you, yo, the cops are down the block. You sure you want to do that right now? Because I already see what you about to do. I done seen it. Now, I done seen it when I turned the corner.
Right.
So, like, relax, bro. We could do that, but I got nothing against, the whole thing of protecting our sisters and being there for our sisters. But they'll go the extra mile for someone of a lighter hue versus someone that has a hue. Because it's just, well, you probably gonna get locked up anyway, so I'm just gonna fuck around on this side of the world. And I'm not even gonna deal with you. And I just see it so much.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You see the lack of communication, but that's a big one right there, man. Because we're gonna leave it right here. But That's going to be because that's going to be the spearhead of next Monday, because there's so much to that. When you say when you say lack of communication, bro, like that's across the board of our people. Like we can blame a lot of the negative shit and shortcomings on that, from property, from education, from community, you know what I mean? From love, from everything, from parenting. There's so much to go into that one phrase. You might have thought you was dropping a little phrase, but that was a whole episode. That was an episode. I didn't mean to. 1 second. Let me write this.
My bad. I didn't mean to do that. But
no. But I, is the beauty of that, P, and this is what that's what I mean about sharing your gifts. You have no idea through sharing your opinion or sharing something, what doors that unlocks for someone else to possibly send them in a direction that now, creates either a solution or at least starts the dialogue, which is always the most powerful and impactful thing that we could do, is get that dialogue going. Because now people are starting to listen because they're hearing it from different points of views. Like, oh shoot, I didn't think about that. I didn't factor that in. So, tough part. Addition to the show here today.
Yeah, we hate the lady on the cliffhanger, people, but fucking blame it on Prophet P. That's why we don't have him up here.
I'm gonna tell you, right?
Nigga don't know how to end the show.
Nah, when I said that one phrase, comments went crazy. It was like,
bro, it's so. I felt it when you said it. I'm like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, my brain starts spinning. I said, I'm looking at the clock like that. But no, tune in next Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Please be with us, because we're gonna break this lack of communication down, and we're gonna point some fingers. Because whenever there's lack of communication, sometimes it's premeditated, and sometimes it's inadvertent. Like you ain't even think about it. So subliminal, or you know what I mean? Motherfucker ain't even think about it, and he didn't when he should have. What was I saying with the first thing with the guy? Lack of communication. Don't make me go there. Don't make me open that shit back up. But anyway, thank you, everybody. Motivation Monday. Once again, that's our super producer, Prophet P, Amir, Silly the King, the jewel of the day. Thank you very much for that. It's your boy Talent. It's Motivated Monday, and we're going to do this shit again 6 o'clock next Monday, and we're going to figure out what the fuck is up with the lack of communication. Right, nothing you can do about it.